So about a month ago, an infamous piece of Wallace and Gromit lost media was uncovered. So I of course made a video on the topic and there's been an amazing response to it. Many have come forward having actually seen the stage show at the time it was shown, whilst others pointed out that the two people presenting the show are Richard and Judy of This Morning back in the 90s. So forgive us for not picking up on that because it's a bit before my time. But long story short, the YouTube user by the name of Lloyd Wilson from Online Outlet UK, who found and uploaded the footage, came across my video and just kind of commented, "You seem like the right guy to send this to." So with that bombshell, I now have the lost Wallace and Gromit tape. It isn't actually on a tape like this anymore, this is purely for illustrative purposes. But yeah, we've got the real thing here in a bag. As far as we know, the only copy of this footage in existence, so of course I want to get it out there. So following that original video, a lot of people had the initiative to do their own research in an attempt to source a better copy of the tape. The ex-user Mellow Online replied with an interesting thread, which I'm going to go through. He said, "Hi, the transmission appears to be from This Morning," in a segment hosted by Richard Madley and his wife Judy Finnegan, which we now know from all of the comments, and it's something that's fairly obvious for anyone a bit older than me. You can see on the photographs that's been highlighted that the prompt cards have the This Morning logo on them, so that pretty definitively pins down the show. We're assuming the broadcast was in 1997, and Richard and Judy presented it from 1988 till 2001, so that all fits together perfectly. Then he said, "I've sent an email to the This Morning team to ask if they have any higher res footage in their archives with a November 24th to December 8th, 1997 date range. Going on what the presenters mention, it appears to take place within the first 2 weeks of the show's run at the Peacock." These are all great points, and this seemed quite a promising lead. Then he replied, "Just a quick update, the This Morning team have got back to me and has directed me to another team at ITV that deals directly with requests for old footage in their archive. Sent my request off today and we'll see what they're able to provide." Then a bit later he responded with, "And unfortunately the trail has run cold." And he's attached the email response which reads, "Hello, I have taken a look into your request and unfortunately ITV Archive do not have this production here. I am really sorry but I cannot assist further. Good luck with the search." So yeah, really interestingly and unfortunately, it seems that the ITV Archive itself does not have a backup of this episode. But this is a genuine thing in case anyone's wondering. You can just message the ITV Archive and if there are any old clips of interest, they can usually just pull them up. So with that, it just kind of hit us that had this tape not been recorded, then we wouldn't have any idea that this ever existed. So it kind of adds more value to this clip really, which has a bit of a story behind it as well. So Lloyd Wilson from Online Outlet UK got in touch. The tape was said to have other rare clips on it that hadn't been seen before, and obviously people were going crazy about this online, so I wanted to kind of clear that up for the fans and just to get a bit of clarity as to how exactly it came to be. He interestingly responded that it's really just a blank DVD that someone had recorded Wallace and Gromit segments on that they saw on TV. It's nothing too exciting apart from the grand night out part, in my opinion. Been in my desk drawer for over a year now, which sounds a bit of an anticlimax, but it continues. So I asked how he came into possession of the DVD, assuming it had just been bought second hand on eBay or something. To which he replied, "Sort of, I buy and sell for a living and I'm also a huge Wallace and Gromit fan since I was like 7. So reselling Wallace and Gromit is my favourite thing to resell, as I can still collect it and then move it on to other fans afterwards. Anyway, I bought a collection off an old couple a few years back and she messaged me afterwards saying that she had the DVD and thought I'd be interested in it, so posted it to me. To be honest, the day I uploaded the video was the day I first ever watched the DVD. I knew it had something of the stage show on there as she'd mentioned it originally. And another part of this story to highlight is that he'd already bought the entire collection, and it wasn't until a while after that the old lady found the DVD and decided to message Lloyd and just send him it out of pure goodwill. So if it wasn't for that small, kind gesture, the Wallace and Gromit stage show would still be lost. And who's to say if there are any other copies and if it ever would have resurfaced. So this inconspicuous DVD had then sat in Lloyd's drawer for years apparently, until for some reason he was eventually compelled to watch it, and presumably realised that this was lost media, pulling out his phone to record the segment on the screen before uploading it to YouTube, and the rest is history. So yeah, during our conversation, Lloyd had mentioned that a lot of people were asking him to properly rip and upload the DVD, and he didn't have a lot of time on his hands and wasn't too familiar with that. So he was like, I can send it to you if you want, which he has. And once again, thanks to the generosity of people, this tape has made its way around to me somehow and will hopefully now be available for everyone to see. So without further ado, here is the very parcel that arrived just a few days ago. So we can unpackage the only copy of the lost Wallace and Gromit stage show, thought to be on a tape, now actually known to be a DVD. 2 bits of cardboard, and very simply, the disc in the middle actually got written on it, Wallace and Gromit. That's straight to the point. So if anyone is curious as to why this is on a DVD, despite appearing as though it was recorded on VHS, I think the answer is that this is a homemade collection of Wallace and Gromit clips and bits from TV, and they had been collected over time. So it is likely that originally it was on a tape such as this. Then as we progressed from the late 90s into the early 2000s, DVD discs started to be used more widespread, and people would often convert the home movies that might have been on older formats and compile them onto DVDs. And yeah, I think of DVDs as a relatively contemporary format, but like, this is 25 years ago we're talking about now, and realised to me horror that computers don't tend to have disc trays anymore. So rather depressingly, I had to dig out an old laptop that actually had a disc tray that would accept this thing. So yeah, without further ado, we can insert the disc. So now that we've got the footage from the DVD to the old laptop, and then from that to the current computer, we're able to have a proper dive into this and react to it. So here we go. So it starts with the South Bank show. I've seen this before on YouTube. Yeah, Gromit makes a weird appearance. Basically any documentaries and stuff regarding Aardman and Nick Park were recorded onto this DVD. So this one is obviously from Curse of the Were-Rabbit era, so about 2005, if not afterwards. But then what I find really interesting, personally, about these old VHS recordings are the adverts. The you know, like that ITV logo is very familiar to me. But even stuff like this, these old British adverts from the 2000s, and it's Christmas time as well. What's better than that? And then we've got more.
They won the Academy Award for Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
A flushed away advert.
Bring you their newest full-length feature.
See, this is my kind of era of kind of Aardman stuff. So as the credits roll
Version of this interview with Nick
for this program, we cut into the lost footage of the stage show, which is, it's really random. The other things seem to be later as well, whereas this is much older. Unless it was a repeat, which it would be even weirder. But yeah, the current kind of theory is that this is a collection of Wallace and Gromit stuff ranging from the 90s to the 2000s. Here we have Richard and Judy coming into shot. You just saw a camera there on the side. But the main difference is you can hear the audio better. So on the off-screen recording, obviously the quality was terrible. It's still pretty bad. It's sub-standard definition. The actual dimensions are 350 by 246. But that's exactly as it was on the DVD, just transferred over.
Who's who? Introduce yourself. Gromit. The dog. And your name? Russ Edwards.
Something you couldn't hear in the previous version was that Richard asks for the names of the cast. He asks Gromit his name, you just hear Russ Edwards. But listen again.
Who's who? Introduce yourself. Gromit. The dog. And your name? Russ Edwards.
Paul Flippy Walter's voice.
I still don't even know what he says. Wallace chokes mid-sentence, and you hear Paul pick up
Angela Clerkin, and I'm Feathers McGrew.
Angela Clerkin
Joyce Henderson, I'm Wendeline.
and Joyce Henderson as Wendeline, who sounds Scottish.
Mark Hollander.
Oh, wait, is that the Peacock Theatre?
And Mark Hollander is showing the sheep. But yeah, the audio is significantly improved, as it was really muffled and low quality from just being off screen.
Okay, well look, we'll leave you to it. There's your plug again. It's Peacock Theatre. It runs till January. It's a great treat over Christmas. And here's the gang giving it to Feathers, or maybe it's Feathers giving it to the gang. Isn't it? See you later.
Very good.
So they get a round of applause. And then after that, we abruptly cut.
A newspaper. He eats everything, that sheep.
But what is really interesting, we've got these obscure adverts. This is for the TV license, and it uses footage from A Close Shave, but is actually redubbed by Peter Sallis. Really cleverly done, actually, because in every instance of the animation, Wallace's mouth is covered, so they don't need to animate it.
Got that TV license under control, Gromit. Now, let's pop out for some cheese.
There are easy ways to pay for your TV license. All you have to do is free phone
I love that.
328 2020 to get a TV license now.
Not so much paying for the TV license, but the graphics here at the end. It's very 2000s. Kraken Contraptions. So yeah, I forgot Kraken Contraptions aired on TV, and yeah, they've happened to record it. Of course, stuff like this is widely available elsewhere, but it is still very cool to see in its natural habitat, so to speak.
And lift off. The trolley has cleared the garden on its 13th mission to the shop.
Yeah, this is the one where Wallace and Gromit infamously commit an act of theft.
For the first time.
And of course that means a lot here.
Oh.
The first time.
So, this is a news segment about Wallace mentioning a different type of cheese in the new film and how it upsets Wensleydale.
Wallace's favourite cheesemaker is back with a new vegetable cheese.
Yeah, they were still making them. The news, as per, trying to make a big deal out of something like that. Program called Collectors highlights a load of obscure merchandise from that time period. I had that one. So another large part of this tape, which is in total 2 hours long, is a large documentary, which takes up a lot of it.
For every syllable.
As with most animated films, all the sound is pre-recorded.
It's Melon Crossingham, the director of Vengeance, back when he was an animator.
DreamWorks' hope was that Chicken Run would give Pixar's Toy Story films a run.
And yeah, presumably we ran out of tape here. This documentary is called Wallace and Gromit Go Chicken. By looking it up quickly here, you can see that there is information on it because it's a full-blown documentary. And by looking on the BBC site, we can see that it was broadcast only once apparently on Wednesday the 28th of June 2000. So yeah, that is the DVD and everything on it. And unsurprisingly, as Lloyd said originally, there's nothing else as big of a discovery, but there are a couple adverts and stuff like that. So the plan is to get this to the Lost Media Busters, who actually brought the discovery of the clip to my attention in the first place, and that of many others. So I thought it was only fair that as well as making this video, we can get it sent to them, and because they deal with this stuff all the time, they can have it properly archived, whilst people can find out about the history of it in this video. So if you want to see the full tape, there should be a link to that down below. But overall, as with lots of lost media discoveries, I think this has been really interesting. Just the concept that had the old couple not decided to record these little segments, it wouldn't have been found. And had they not decided to kindly offer the disc to Lloyd, it would never have resurfaced. But I think that getting it out there is definitely the right thing to do, so that everyone can enjoy this strange monstrosity. It's slightly less disturbing when you know all the backstory behind it and stuff. Will probably still freak people out who come across it accidentally. Plenty of mystery still left unanswered. Why isn't this backed up in the ITV archive? I don't know. That's a bit strange, but maybe people have a better idea of how all of that works and could provide some answers. But yeah, lost media, found and saved. And once again, thanks to all of the amazing people involved in this search. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible, so you can check them all out in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Bye.